Join me to draft and sew these two color ashoke mixed with Ankara. Hello everyone, welcome back to Jegalia Apparel. If you're yet to subscribe to this channel, please hit the subscribe button. Thank you. Alright, so the making of this style, we're going to be making use of 3 packs of ashoke. You can see the two colors. You know it comes like this in a pack. Okay, so I bought 3. Now the reason I bought 2 pink is because it's going to be a gown. So we're going to be drafting and sewing the skirt in this video. The next video will be the drafting of the upper part. These are all the things I'm going to be making use of for this dress. This is a push-up bra. Okay, it's half bra, and then the fabric, the lining. I'm going to be stoning the dress, as you can see. So these are the beads that will be used to design this outfit. Okay, so as you can see what we have here. So the first thing we're going to be doing is I'm going to cut this ashoke. You see the way it comes. Alright, can you see the strands as I open them up? So I'm just going to take it like this, open it up, and then cut it. So after cutting it, just the way it has been arranged, okay, after cutting it, I'm going to take it to the sewing machine and then stitch. Alright, so just watch me as I cut, but let's just see the length. Let's measure it so that we can see how many inches. Now can you see that it's over 60 inches? Right, so you can decide to make it 45 or exactly 60. It depends on you, but I prefer it the way it is, because the skirt is going to be very long, so I don't want to have a shortage of fabric when I'm trying to cut. And that's why I bought 2 packs of this pink and then 1 orange. Okay, so now let me show you how I'm going to be joining it. Now I'm just going to be overlapping. I'm not going to stitch this way, the way I'm showing you, but I'm going to overlap. Okay, I'm just going to place one on the other as if you're sewing a gilly. Okay, the head tie. So, and I'm going to join as many as possible. I'm going to join one pack, all the strands in one pack. So afterwards, I'm going to take the second pack, cut, and then join, and I'm also going to do that with the orange. Now this is it. Can you see what we have? Okay, can you see what we have? So this is for a pack, but I didn't join everything. Okay, I didn't use everything. I just used 6 for this first pack. I used 6, and then like that for the orange I used 4 strands. Okay, so that's it. So after this, we're going to be drafting the skirt itself. That'll be the next thing we are going to be doing for this. Okay, because we're making a mermaid skirt, alright, so I had to just lay this on the floor so that I can have a better space. Okay, so, and remember I'm making a gown like I mentioned initially. So I've taken out 19 inches. Her half length, the client half length is 19, so I've taken out 19 inches. So from 19 inches, I'm just going to measure down. Her skirt length, the full length of the gown is over 60. Alright, so now the half length where this pink color will start from is 15. Okay, right from the waist down to our hip where the pink color would stop is 15. Okay, so you just have to do the maths and know where the pink is going to stop, where the orange is going to start. Alright, so then afterwards, from where the hip downward was 45 inches. Okay, so like I said, because it's going to be long, like really long, and the client herself is tall, so, and then afterward I'm just marking the hip measurement. Her hip was 41, so divide that by 4, and then I added sewing allowance to it. And then when I got to the knee, okay, I took in 2 inches just to give it that shape. All right, just to give it that mermaid shape, so that it won't just be like a straight skirt. So just please watch what I'm doing. So sorry, my marker actually stopped working at this point, and it was late at night, so there was nothing I could do just to use a pencil and a chalk. So please just bear with me. Okay, so for the wideness I used 15. That's folded. You know, by the time you open it up, that makes it 30. Okay, so folded I used 15. Now I could have used more than 15, but from the picture you notice that the skirt is not very wide. Okay, it's not very wide, so that's why I used 15. When opened up, 30. Now can you see what we have? Can you see the shape of the skirt? Okay, can you see how it is? So I'm just going to cut this out, but before I do that, I'm going to pin it down. Okay, you know I'm drafting on the paper, so I'm just going to pin this down and then cut it out. So afterwards, this is what we have. Can you see the shape? Okay, so I've placed the front on the back of paper that I'm going to be cutting out. I had to like use tape to join several papers together, just so that I can have more space. So the next thing that I'll be doing, I'm going to take the measurement, okay, so that just to get where we'll be adding the flare at the back, okay, that mermaid shape. So I'm just going to take the measurement. It's going to start from the knee, and I'm just going to mark that. Okay, you can see the extension of paper that I have at the back. Okay, so I'm just going to shape it out. Okay, I'm just going to shape that from that knee length. I'm going to shape it down. Now you can make this as wide as possible, depending on the style that you want. If you want the skirt to be extremely wide, you can use 20 inches, you can use, depend on you. So I'm just going to shape this out now. Because I have a shortage of paper, okay, so by the time I'm cutting this extension on fabric, I'm going to make it wider. As you can see that this is not very wide, but when I'm cutting it on the fabric, I'm just going to make this wide. Now because I'm making use of different fabric for that extension, okay, so I'm just going to shape this out. Okay, this part I shaped out, it's going to be where we're placing the fabric. That's the Ankara fabric. Afterward, what I'm marking right now is the zip allowance. So I'm just making use of 1 inch for zip allowance, the waist down to that knee length. Okay, so that is the zip allowance that I am marking out. Alright, so this is technically what we have here. Alright, can you see? So afterwards, I just cut it out, and can you see the shape that we have? Alright, so I'm going to open up that part. Can you see this extension here? I'm going to open it up. Alright, now that's the front placed on the back. Alright, so I'm going to secure this with a pin first, then I'm going to cut it open so that you can see what we have. Now please just watch what I'm doing. It's not as difficult as you think. Alright, so can you see? Now like I said, when the time I'm cutting this on the fabric, I'm going to make it much bigger than this. Alright, the inches will be wider than this. Alright, so now this is the skirt, this is the back. Can you see? This is the back, and then by the time you place the extension at the back, it gives you that flowing effect. Alright, so we're just going to lay this on the fabric and cut. Now can you see the way I've placed the actual cape with the paper? Can you see the way I placed it on it? Because I want the pink color to be the top upper part of the skirt, so I used 15 inches. Okay, so you measure from the waist down to where you want the pink color to stop. I used 15 inches. I marked it on the paper. Then I'm just going to cut this out just as you've seen. Now can you see how beautiful this is looking already, even without making the dress? Can you see how beautiful this is? Okay, so we're just going to set this aside and cut the back. Now can you see that I'm gonna have to cut the back, the extension. Like I said, I added a few inches to the extension, and this is the lining that I'm making use of. Right, so afterward I'm just going to cut the lining and then take it to the sewing machine to stitch. Now I've attached the lining, I've done some stitches. Now the next thing, we're making a skirt, so it's not like I have to show you everything. The drafting is the most important part of it. It's something you can actually do. Okay, now for the fabric in front, okay, I had to get the mid part from where the orange color starts. Now from the mid part, I'm just going to measure where I want it to get to. So from the mid part, just take 2 inches. Okay, from the mid part, 2 inches. So the fabric is going to be placed just after the 2 inches. Okay, now the wideness of the fabric I'm using, as you can see, is 6 inches. So by the time it's folded in, I'm going to be having 5 inches, and that is going to be placed right from where the orange color starts down to the tip of the skirt. Okay, so but before I do that, I'm going to take it to the ironing table, and I'm going to add the stay just to secure it in place, so that it's not just moving around when I'm trying to sew. Right, so I'm going to use stay to gum it down. Then afterward, take it to the sewing machine and fold it in, and then stitch right from the top to the 2 sides. I'm going to stitch it down. All right, and then you're going to see what we'll be having at the end of the day. And this is it after stitching. Can you see? This is it after stitching it on the ashoke. So the next thing is to take the back now and attach the zip. Okay, but before I attach the zip, I'm going to measure 8 inches from where the zip is going to start, going to stop, where the zip is going to stop, and I'm going to stitch down from that point down to the knee. Okay, down to the knee before I'll be attaching the African fabric. Right, so from this extension here where I had notched, can you see this mark? This is where the stitch is going to stop. Right, so from there I'm going to attach the African fabric. Now from this point that I'm marking down to that length, then we are going to attach the African fabric after attaching our zip. Okay, so this is what we have after attaching the zip and also the fabric, that's the African fabric. So what I'm going to do is going to trim this so that it balances. You can see that the shape is not looking so beautiful at the back. That's with the way the Ankara is looking. That's the African fabric. So I'm just going to trim this so that it looks much more presentable, more beautiful. Okay, so I'm just going to use my chalk to mark it, just to give it a little curve at that back section, that area. So I'm just going to curve it in a little bit so that we can have that beautiful shape in this skirt. Okay, so please just watch what I'm doing. Please, if you're here to subscribe to this channel, please do that. Like this video, share it, leave a comment if you have any question regarding the making of this skirt. Thank you. All right, so can you see what we have? This is the shape at the back. All right, now this is what we have the back looking like. Right, so can you see the upper part? The color combination is really beautiful. Okay, the next thing is to bring the front. So we're just going to join the front and the back together right now. So we're going to take our waist circumference and the hip circumference, and then we're going to stitch all that together. And can you see what the shape we're having already? Okay, you can see the shape that we are having already. Take the hip measurement, the waist measurement, and we're going to stitch down. Okay, leaving the upper part. Remember, we're making a gown, not a skirt, not just a single skirt. Alright, so I'm just going to take this to the sewing machine and stitch. Let's come back to see how it's looking. This is the final look of our skirt. Can you see this is the final look of our mermaid skirt? Don't forget to turn on your notification so that you can know when I drop the full video of the making of this outfit. Like I said, this is not just a skirt, we are making a gown. It's a bridal gown, so please come back for it. Give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.